I only see 3 people.
He just dropped out. He'll be back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Saturday, so you all know what that means. It is time for Star Trek, and today we are discussing with irate prostate scammer or hammer and skip talk, scammer and hep talk. Are you sure that you're the one who just woke up there, Hammer?
Jeez, scammer?
The one-ton scammer. Boy,
The one-ton scammer, yes.
Do I have a bridge to sell you?
Oh, boy. So, hello again, irate. Today, we are carrying on with our favorites. And today we are doing Hammer's top 3 picks for the original series, which are the Doomsday Machine, the Omega Glory, and Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. So let's do them in order. Let's start off with the Doomsday Machine, which I actually really like this episode. To quickly synopsize it before we go into why Hammer likes it so much, this is about basically a space robot from a different galaxy that is eating star systems, and it's up to Kirk and the Enterprise to stop it. Which, and of course, there's more to talk about, but that is the synopsis of the.
You'll find this common in a lot of Star Trek episodes where Kirk is fighting a robot.
Yes.
Nomad.
Yep.
I am Nomad. I am perfect. That's Kirk versus a robot. The will of Landru.
Yes.
Against a robot. It's all you find if you look at the Star Trek TOS show. I would say maybe 15 episodes have something to do with Kirk fighting a robot.
And a lot of those 15, he has to trick them into thinking that he's the creator of the robot.
Yeah, that's with Nomad. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Vija.
Vija's, yeah, there you go. There's a actual full-length movie where he's fighting a robot.
Yeah.
So was Vija created by the Borg? Is the question.
I think
so.
I thought it was co-opted by the Borg.
Oh yeah,
That's what I think too.
Discussion.
I thought the Voyager probe was found by the Borg, and that's why they became cybernetic beings. But I could be wrong. Like I think there's a fan origin story about the Borg somewhere. I don't know if it's fan or if it's canon, but
it's Fannin.
It's Fannin.
Fannin, yeah. And we also in this episode have a bit of a battle between Spock and Commodore Decker, which is, I think, a friend of Kirk's. Can we call him a friend of Kirk's, or do we just call him a
At
colleague?
this point, yeah. I would think that they have a high respect for each other. They say, I think at some point they talk about Decker being one of the most decorated officers or commanders in the program in Starfleet.
Well, and you see that he and Kirk are on a first name basis.
Mm-hmm. They're friends, yeah.
And I don't just like they're saying like short name, like Jim and Matt.
Right.
Like they at least know each other.
There's recognition when Kirk actually shows up on his ship. I don't want to jump too far into the episode, but Decker turns to Kirk and says, "Kirk, it's Jim Kirk.
I'm glad it's you that found me," or something like that.
So it's there's recognition in his eyes when he sees him. It's not like, "Who are you? What captain and ship are you on?" He knows who Kirk is.
Yeah,
right. He can trust him.
Yeah. And we find this. It's called the Constellation. Was Decker's ship, I believe. Was it?
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, Enterprise and company stumble across the Constellation, and they go aboard because it's been. They think like it's obvious they were attacked. They can't find any life signs. And then they end up coming across Commodore Decker. And we find out that he was watching this thing devour planets. And he ended up sending his crew down to one of the planets to try and keep them safe because the constellation had been attacked. But then the Doomsday Machine ate the planet the crew was on.
Yeah.
So Decker lost everybody on his ship. And he was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to do the captain thing, And he even says it with a little laugh. Captain goes down with the ship and all that, so it's pretty hard. Like, you can tell that he's a commanding officer that cared about his crew, and now he feels like he kind of has nothing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of reasons why I picked this episode. One is Windham's performance in this episode really makes the entire episode. It's the first time I ever saw Star Trek where somebody who came to the show, not part of the cast crew normally, who came in and just drove the entire show.
Yep.
It shows you what a great actor that Windham is.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic. That was one reason why I picked this. The second reason, and probably even more dramatic to me, is the use of music in this episode. There are scenes that provoke emotional response simply because of the music, for no other reason. When you come upon the constellation and the music is da 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 da, you feel sad right away. It's not just the visual of a starship that's beat up, but the sound of that music. And then they turn to the Enterprise and it's dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
it's bright and you feel pride, just the ability to, I don't remember the guy who did this music, but he only did a few episodes of Star Trek's music. And there was a YouTube special, or it was on YouTube. It was a special or something like that of why this was such a great episode. And they pointed out that there's a part of the episode where people are beaming on to the Enterprise, and the guy who's narrating says, "This episode is so good with music," he says, "that when they beam aboard, you don't have to hear the sound of the transport. We've taken that out. Just listen to the music." And if you listen to the music sounds like a transporter effect.
It kind of does.
It's all.
Yeah.
It makes you think they're transporting, even though it's not the actual sound effect. It's the music that did it. So that was really what I mean. I like the whole Captain Ahab thing, the theme behind this, but really what got me for this was, and comparing it to any other Star Trek TOS episode, maybe other series as well, the music here is just shoulders above everybody else.
I agree. And like when Kirk, when they're finding out what happened to the crew, and Kirk's like, there is no third planet, and the way the music goes when Decker goes, "Don't you think I know that?"
Yes.
Probably the best part of the entire episode is that interaction right there. "Don't you think I know that?"
Yeah.
There used to be, but not anymore.
Yeah.
That whole part of that is it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much that affected me.
Yeah, all three of your go ahead. I was going to say all three of your episodes, Hammer, are really dialogue-driven.
Yeah.
Very good, very dramatic stuff, man.
I'm a little disappointed in my Let That Be Your Battlefield, but we'll get to that in a moment. But Windham was not supposed to play this part.
Oh, no?
It was supposed to be another actor who was more like, I can't remember I can't remember who the other actor was that was supposed to play his part, but they tried to get him but couldn't get him, and they were running late in the production schedule, so they just grabbed Windham and threw him in there. The part was not supposed to be played so emotionally. The guy who was there was supposed to be very hard-nosed and very unemotional, and
kind of like the guy in the Omega Glory episode. Maybe there was a certain amount of passion when it came to the actor who played Omega, but this guy was supposed to be very
cold.
Cold, very stage actor, very trained, very upright, very, I don't know how else to put it, but he was not supposed to be the emotional wreck that Windham portrayed. That was all Windham. That was not, directed.
I think it works though.
Oh my God.
Like,
that was a brilliant decision.
If you're a commanding officer and you lose your entire crew, you're not going to be like, you may be trying really hard not to show it.
Yes.
But you are not going to be fine.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If a guy ever showed it the way that Windham showed it, his exec would pull him aside.
Yeah.
He'd give him about 1 day, and then he'd relieve him for cause.
Yeah,
but
in the Navy, that's what would happen.
Well,
so
and they even
it's not real world, but this
and that would be the compassionate thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Because not only is he emotionally a wreck, but he's mentally unstable now.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's got to make good decisions.
Right. He's got a hard on for this Doomsday Machine thing, and he's gonna get it if it kills him. Right.
Well, they
your authority to relieve me.
Exactly. They even try to relieve him. Because Spock and McCoy are, and Spock's like, you'd need to make a recommendation that he's mentally unstable, and McCoy's like, I'll do that right now, and he's like, but do you have proof? Do you have physical proof?
I really wanted to download a soundboard software for us. I never got around to it, and I wanted to clip out all of these pieces so we could have played them, but I never.
Oh, that would have been
to it.
Awesome. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, and the software is not that hard to get and not that hard to use, but I just never got around to doing it. But anybody who's seen these episodes, they know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But like to have Spock and McCoy trying to relieve, and they successfully do after a while.
Spock does, yeah.
Yeah, Spock is like, Kirk is, follow my orders, and he's like,
not with my ship, you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm going after the Doomsday Machine. Not with my ship, you're not. And he's like, I rank you, and he's like, I don't care. You're not taking my ship into this thing. Fuck
McCoy's
you.
trying to get Spock to relieve him, and he, I'll certify that right now. And you can see Windham's face gets scared, like, uh-oh, I could get relieved. And Spock says, well, you're going to have to prove it. And McCoy says, I haven't had a chance. Right, exactly.
And he whispers it, too. Like, DeForest Kelly, lowers his voice because you know very well I haven't had a chance to examine him.
Well, then your findings would be irrelevant or something like that. Yeah. And the best part is, at the end, McCoy turns to Spock and says, well, Spock. Spock just stands there. Doctor, you can leave the bridge. Oh man, so many good parts of this, so many emotional parts of this. DeForest Kelly plays a great scene in this.
Oh, he does, and the emotional parts of it, they're less dramatic, but they're still just as poignant with Scott and Kirk over on the Constellation, basically watching Decker doing shit with the Enterprise, and Kirk's like, okay, Scotty, I really need that power so I can stop this madman.
The best line from Scotty is when Kirk mumbles, if only had some faces. Oh, you got him. I got a bank recharged.
Yeah.
Scotty, just on your pay for the week. Scotty.
I love that moment. That was
back when
one of my favorite moments.
When they still get paid, right? Right. Scotty, you just earned your pay for the week. I wonder when they stopped paying Starfleet officers.
Did anybody find that really unexpected when Scotty said, I've got a bank recharged?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was really unexpected.
It was.
Yeah, it was great.
Because you're usually expecting Scotty to be like, I cannot do it, Captain.
Yeah. Exactly. I just went,
I cannot change the laws of physics.
I'm getting it. All she's got, Captain.
Yeah.
But for just this once, he's like, oh, yeah, here. Got your
Done,
face.
dude.
All our bad Scottish
I don't think they were actually getting paid. I think that was just a
thing.
Well, yeah. The whole payment thing and the Earth not needing money thing kind of it gets defeated when the Ferengi are always talking about go press Latinum, like later down the line.
Other species still use currency, but inside the Federation themselves, they don't.
Perfect Federation.
Yeah. So anyway.
So then we go, and after Decker is finally relieved of duty, he punches out the poor ensign that was supposed to take him to his quarters.
Good fight. It's a good fight.
That's true. The ensign.
It's a believable. I was watching that fight. I was like, "Where is the fake? This all looks like it could actually happen. It could be real."
Yeah, but you can tell the stuntman, especially Spock stand-in, is fucking funny looking, man. Because it's not him, man. It's good stuff.
And then we have Decker stealing a shuttlecraft, and my favorite, Kirk is like, Enterprise, why are you launching a shuttlecraft?
I don't understand the whole that's that whole trope with shuttlecraft. There's no way they can prevent that from happening because it happens in TNG and everything. It's like, folks, let's figure a way to keep that from ever happening again because it gets stolen like every other episode.
Put a bike lock on it. It's not like it's hard technology.
Put a bike lock on it. That's brilliant.
At least a
open
low
the
jack
shuttle
or some
doors.
shit like that.
Just open the shuttle doors. Sorry, sir, we have to get an EVA to take the bike lock off of the.
They identify you, right? Based on facial recognition or fucking DNA or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would say you do not have permission to take this shuttlecraft. I mean, there would be something in place like that. There would have to be a chain of decisions,
especially in TNG in the first season when the kid who didn't get into the Starfleet exam steals the shuttle. Jake Curlin, he steals the shuttle from the Enterprise and he's gonna run away, and then he almost crashes the freaking thing.
There's 2 points to that. The first point is the kid's 16 years old. You're telling me a 16-year-old can steal a shuttlecraft from a starship? Seems kind of silly. But on the other hand, he's an entry to Starfleet, so he's not a stupid kid either.
No.
So there's things on both sides, but still.
That choice, he's kind of trying to prove his point, right?
Yeah.
That he's worthy of it.
So Matt Decker leaves the Enterprise with a shuttlecraft and goes straight down the gullet of the Doomsday Machine. And everyone thinks, that was a big waste. He's dead now, and the creature's still there.
He's dead, Jim. I just love that line. I never get tired of it.
I saw a Pillsbury Doughboy and McCoy going, he's bred, Jim.
That's funny.
Pincalo actually has a good point. He says, why is it that they don't have remote manual control of the shuttlecraft?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
It is.
Yeah, they can control another starship, but they can't control a shuttlecraft?
Bring that motherfucker back.
Push the come home button.
Yeah. Return to ship button. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt Decker dies, but he provides them with the key to solving this.
Yes, because they discover a tiny, tiny blip in the energy output when Matt goes in there. So Kirk has this brilliant idea. We just need a bigger ship.
Exactly.
And a bigger explosion.
Nice.
So he gets Scotty to rig a delayed detonation on the impulse drive. And
blow them up, but it's hard to keep them from blowing.
Everybody's going to beam out of there. Should be no problem.
Oh, yeah, no, it should be fun.
Won't be dramatic at all.
Yeah, it won't be dramatic. Exactly.
What's
the possibility there'll be a problem with the transporter?
Yeah,
that would never happen.
especially back then, right?
What about
the only thing? A mild criticism, a very mild criticism, was that I could see that coming a mile away.
Mm.
What do you guys think about the cleaned up digital?
Oh my God, it's so much better.
So much better.
That machine looked fantastic. I was like, damn, because it was always kind of these muted grays and stuff, and it just looked kind of amorphous.
Blurry to me. It looked blurry and hazy to me.
What, the old
version? Yeah, it did.
And the music for the Doomsday Machine when it's coming at something, it's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of like Jaws. I think you kind of tapped into something there.
If you watch that show that I was talking about earlier, that's actually mentioned. They play the Jaws theme, and then they play the music for this, and they say, "See how close they are."
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. The foreboding.
Yep.
And that was what, 5 years before Jaws?
Yeah.
5 or 6 years? Because
70,
Jaws was 74, right?
Oh, 74? I thought it was 70.
Yeah, then it would have been, because that would have been, let's see, those were
65, 74, that's 9 years.
Because did Jaws come out before or after The Exorcist?
Yes, it did.
After?
It did come in before or after.
I think
You're absolutely right. It did.
Because The Exorcist came out in 73. And I think
Jaws after that.
Yeah, I think Jaws was the summer of 74.
One press ignores my best jokes. Don't understand that.
It came out in 75. It was in the theaters in 75.
So 10 years, I guess, between the music. But it's a good takeoff, right? Like a good...
Yeah, I think there's
cream cone minus the ice cream. Says
I think Decker may have been the influence for, remember in Starship Troopers where they go on the base that's been raided by the bugs, and all they find there's the commander like hiding in the fucking that kind
I never thought about that.
Yeah, that was probably a steal from Verhoeven giving his love to Star Trek.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite
that was a book
guilty
first,
pleasure
though,
movies.
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Heinlein's?
And they're not even there's similar parallels, but the cartoon is more like the book, which is hard to find. But we digress.
But of course, we so the explosion from the bigger ship works, thankfully, or does it? Yeah, it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it takes out the Doomsday Machine, and they save the
Rigel colony.
The Rigel colony.
They're in that
barely
on course. So,
and we're still colonizers after all that time.
Yeah,
yes, we are.
Yeah.
Those. We're oppressive. We are oppressing planets now instead of
make space great again.
That's kind of what we do.
And then, so that is, I think that's the whole entirety of Doomsday. So you chose that for the music, right? That
was what caught my eye first. Or I should
in
say
retrospect, I would say this is my favorite of the three too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what caught my ear. Not only all that, but you get a lot of phaser fire and a lot of ship maneuvering and that kind of stuff. So you get the science fiction part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is your favorite of the three?
Mine, I said, yeah.
Yeah, this is
not my favorite of the three, but it's my second favorite of the three.
This is probably my favorite of the three, just because I can't find anything that it doesn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got all the components.
Really like this one. But
I agree with you,
There was
on that.
one of these three that I liked more.
Yeah, I've gone over it a couple of times. When I selected these guys, I printed them out on a piece of paper and I wrote down a list of things, pros and cons, and what everything. So I have like little show notes ahead of me, and the last thing is I wrote down here is, can you find anything wrong with this episode? And I wasn't able to come up with anything. I was like, oh, that was kind of bad. I mean, granted, the whole transporter trope is a known thing, but that's a transporter trope throughout TOS and throughout all of the series.
Throw that
all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not wrong with
that's a feature.
This episode, right? That's something wrong with all Star Treks. So I couldn't.
It's just part of Star Trek.
I couldn't wedge it into this as an issue. So
no, not at all. Not at all. No, I would say I could find nothing wrong with this. I mean, yeah. And like you say, the just amazing performance by Windham.
Yeah.
Just carried the day.
Yeah, it seemed to me, to be honest with you, it seemed like the show kind of died, with him a little bit. When he died, it seemed after that it was kind of like boring by comparison. When he was alive,
that's arguably, I agree.
It was a more interesting show. He died, and everyone was like, "Yeah, exactly." The air went out of it. Exactly.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
He even made Spock, like, because Nimoy, has a job of not emoting too much because Spock is Vulcan, but he's also human.
Mm-hmm.
And Nimoy, when he was relieving him of command, he had to be pretty stern. And Nimoy, like, he made Nimoy have to work for it. You know what I mean? Like, he made the actors around him have to act. And that's a sign of a good actor, right? If you make the people around you kind of step up their game a bit, even though they're already good, I think that's a really good
sign. It's like the injection of a good guitar player into a band.
Yeah.
And it raises everybody up, right? Like Jimmy Page and the Yardbirds.
It can. I mean, it would not help Kiss.
No.
Fair point, right?
That's a fair fucking point there, dude.
Okay.
I used to be in the Kiss Army. Just saying.
God
yeah, I know. Hey, man, we all did stupid shit when we were young.
I did more than my share.
Well, let's move on to the Mega Glory because we spent a half an hour on Doomsday Machine, but it's rightfully done.
That's a fair appropriation of time because it was great.
Yeah. So the Omega Glory, to quickly synopsize this, is Kirk and company come upon a planet, and they discover that was it a captain?
No, this is where they were tracking down another starship.
That's right.
The Exeter, yeah.
Yeah, the Exeter. They were looking for the Exeter. They find it in orbit, or not in orbit. Who
in orbit?
In orbit of a planet, and they beam down. Well, an away team beams down. It's Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and I think that's all.
Tracy.
It's just the three of them.
Tracy's the commander.
And they find
there's a red shirt that goes with them.
Yeah, a red shirt. Yeah, and they find Captain Ron Tracy.
Mm.
Well, actually, they beam across to the Exeter first.
Yeah, and they find
that's true. And they find
they have to get infected.
Yes,
they find just empty uniforms with this this powdery substance, this granular substance, right? And they realize that all the water in the people has been extracted, and are the base what's left.
Like a crystalline powder.
Yeah, exactly.
And we discover from McCoy that this is what's left. Yeah, when all the water is taken out of humans. So they then beam down to the planet and discover that there's Captain Ron Tracy, and he has interfered hugely with this planet's population.
With the combs.
With the combs and the yangs.
The combs and the yangs. Yeah.
And they know
find
about
that out. When they first beam down, though, everything is hunky-dory.
Yeah, well, except within the first 5 minutes,
the unpleasantness with the beheading.
They find out that these people know about phasers, or as they call them, fireboxes. And that's the first indication that something is amiss. That there is no way that these people should know about phasers.
And it's the first time you hear the term prime directive.
Yep.
In the series.
And you also hear that how seriously they take it, because Kirk even says in a log that captain and crew is supposed to die to uphold it.
Mm-hmm. And this was written by Roddenberry. This episode specifically was written by him.
Yep.
Yeah. So we find out that you can't, once you get infected with this illness, you better not leave that planet.
Right.
Well, that's what we are told at the beginning. Or you will die very quickly. And we find out that we've got this huge, basically divided planet between the Combs and the Yangs. And the Combs, let me see if I get this right. The Combs are who Tracy is in control of.
Right. And they are Asiatics.
And they are Asiatic looking. And the Yangs are, they look more like
savages.
Tracy and them.
They're modeled after the Native Americans, but they're all like blonde and redheads and white.
And apparently they have, all they want to do is kill you. Until they get
lovely people.
Yeah. But we find out there's a bit more to that when they lock one up with Kirk and Spock. But I do like I have to say, some of the lines Spock delivers in this episode are just hilarious. Like,
yeah, I know, man.
When Kirk is fighting the first fight that Kirk is in, and and Spock is just totally just deadpan. You know, they seem to never give up. And thank you, Spock. I noticed. Or one could take a break while the other one starts in on you. Yes, Spock. Thank you. He's just, ever the scientist observing his captain going through this. And he's just, well, Captain, this could possibly be a theory. And he's like, yeah, thanks, Spock. And then he reaches over and doesn't he nerve pinch one of them finally?
The girl.
Yeah. The girl.
And he goes,
the girl in this episode, holy mackerel. She's a winner.
And I like Kirk goes, pity you can't teach me that. And he goes, I have tried, Captain.
Yes.
Over and over and over and over. All right, so this first aired on March 1968, which is significant, and I'll save that for the end. All right, because something happened April 3rd in 1968.
So what do you like about this episode, Hammer? What made it one of your choices?
Kirk's speech at the end.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I thought that might have been it.
I like the ruthlessness of Ron Tracy as well. Guy who's been mentally switched to the other side, but you don't really see it right away.
Yeah.
But you eventually see it in full force. That was another thing too that got me. And then the general idea of this is what would have happened if the communists had won, kind of deal. This could have been Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That possibility was another thing that got me in this episode.
Right,
really,
and then they find out like the people there are like 400 and 500 years old, and that's the result of the biological warfare and their adaptation after the war, right?
Yeah.
And it's like 400 years. So this guy's like saying, "We've found the fountain of youth, man. And I'm keeping it all to me."
And then McCoy's like, no.
Not really.
Evolution.
Yeah, because he says something like it's been some number of times since the red bird has come, and they say, well, the red bird comes only every 17 years.
Every
or
11 years.
Yeah, and they figure out that that guy's been alive for 460 some odd years.
Yeah.
They live this long because they're supposed to live this long.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
Another great performance by DeForest Kelley. Just and I love that a Canadian delivers that we the people speech the way that he does. Because if you
reminds me of what's going on with Hong Kong right now. It's amazing how other places
I was
better
just going to say that
than we do in some cases.
How ironic! They're waving the American flag in Hong Kong right now
and singing the national anthem in their square. Can you believe that?
No, reading the Constitution preamble out loud as they're getting pummeled by police.
Well, and what's messed up is there's protests going on in Canada now between, especially in Vancouver, because there's a huge Chinese population there, between Hong Kong and the Hong Kong people and Chinese people who are living here. It's really crazy. But I love the fact that Kirk, like if you didn't know Shatner was a Canadian and you listen to him give that speech, he sounds like a dyed-in-the-wool American guy.
Absolutely. And that was something when I was watching it, I was saying, Ozzy, remember, this dude's a Canadian.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, man.
I can understand where you guys are coming from, but keep in mind that he's reading what someone else wrote.
Yeah, he's an actor. We get that.
But he's got to, like...
So there's someone else's words, but it's his acting.
Yeah.
His emotion that is the part that he added.
You would think that he was an American actor that was going, yes, this is my country, and this is, this is, like, you wouldn't think that a Canadian was delivering those lines. If you didn't know any different. Like, that's a real patriotic actor that's taking those lines to heart,
delivering them with conviction.
Yeah.
It's fun to think that some of that's really coming from his heart.
Yeah. Well, he makes his residence in the States.
He's been living in the United States longer than he's been living in Canada.
Oh, yeah. And he's, his acting style, there's a little bit of a ham there, but it's just enough.
Little bit.
I love the way that he uses the ham, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes it's
a full pork roast there, in my opinion.
I feel you.
But yeah, look at these words.
People.
Everybody
people. Larger than everything else. We the people. Yeah.
Another good choice.
And then there's a surprise ending, right? Because they bring in the United States flag, and you realize, holy shit, this is America.
Right.
These are Americans that were defeated by the communists. This is what happened. And it's the same kind of surprise ending that a movie that came out April 3rd, like I guess what would be, it would air March the 1st, so a month later, and he was good friends with Rod Serling, who produced Planet of the Apes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think that he was aware of what was going on, and I think this was his, I think that there were people like looking at this like, okay, what's the Earth's big future? Because that's science fiction anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that zooming in and shit was, I don't know, it seemed like there was some type of dialogue there between Roddenberry, I think. Because he, they were in communication. He spoke at his funeral. And it seemed like Roddenberry really admired Serling. And it was Serling's idea, but he was sick at the time, and Arthur P. Jacobs had to take it over, who was the main money behind it, but it was Serling's baby. So, Planet of the Apes, which is an iconic film, I believe.
I think in Kirk's speech, the best line was the last line. He says, These words apply to everybody, or they mean nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's probably the best line of the entire speech.
And the way he says it too, like they mean nothing. Don't you understand? Like he's pleading with them.
And that's after the good versus evil fight scene. That's pretty much the end of the episode, isn't it?
Yep.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not even there aren't even any quips or anything like that. Like there's a few episodes that they don't include little shots back and forth, and that's one of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, they'll end on like a goofy, like giggle, right?
Yeah.
And they
like City on the Edge of Forever was another one where there was no goofy quip at the end. It was just okay. We're done.
Right. Yeah, McCoy and Spock sparring.
Yeah.
The best one is the one where they get on the planet and they find a Klingon, and the Klingon shoots one of the guys, and they have these weapons that they throw at you and they hit you in the heart. What was the name of that episode?
Oh, I can't remember. I know it
because the girl has a baby and she names the baby after McCoy and Kirk. James Leonard Akar. I think you two are going to be completely insufferable for the next month. Just hearing that coming out of Leonard Nimoy's face is pretty funny. That was the quip at the end of the show.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that episode, man.
I can't either. I keep getting it mixed up. I keep getting that name of that episode mixed up with the name with the one with Tyree. Because it's another, backwards kind of civilization. But the names of the two episodes are kind of similar. But I can't remember what they are.
I think my least favorite Star Trek episode is the Native American one, though.
Miramonte?
The Indian planet.
Where he loses his memory. And
the girl makes the entire episode for me. God, she was gorgeous.
She was fantastic. Yeah, dude, I'm with you on that one.
Something I got to say for Star Trek, there aren't very many ugly women in this show. There's an awful lot of gorgeous women. And you mentioned the City on the Edge of Forever. Man, that girl was just barely wearing that outfit. Holy mackerel. So that's Doomsday Machine and Omega Glory, right?
Yep, that brings us to Let That Be Your Last Battlefield.
Yeah, this was the weakest of the three for me because I didn't really find a standout performance anywhere. Because we had Decker for Doomsday Machine, we had Kirk for Omega Glory, but Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, there was never a person who you were just like, wow, that was awesome.
Well, Frank Gorshin's such an explosive actor. And it's almost like his heart's not in it.
He played a very cool and calculating kind of guy. I mean, he's basically a prison guard.
I love this was my
bounty hunter.
Of the three.
Really?
This was my favorite of the three.
Well, the thing that stands out about this episode is that it teaches you something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what makes
not
this episode.
really in a pedantic way either.
Not in a more faggy way, right? Exactly.
Okay, wouldn't have picked that word, but I know.
I mean, it's a term.
It's a term. It certainly is a term. You're absolutely right.
Part of the reason that I love this episode was how much I loved it when I saw it, and at the age that I saw it, I was in 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah,
and I was just becoming,
aware
of. Civil rights, people forget what things were like, or people, just were not alive, didn't experience.
There are people who don't know that this is actually a civil rights movie.
Yeah,
they still don't get the fact that it's black and white, your side and my side. They don't get any of that. They just see it as, it's a bounty hunter trying to get this guy. They only see that part of it, but it really is all about civil rights. The entire thing is about civil rights.
Yeah.
Lockhart talks about his people being enslaved, 1,000 years ago.
Exactly.
And then he's still pissed about it.
And then you've got what the hell's
making speeches in Tim Ford and shit.
What the hell is the bounty hunter's name again?
Lokai
and
Belek
or something.
Bella.
but he
Skip, look it up.
But the way he was so
it's BLE.
He was so like, your people are, living in perpetual victimhood, and we set you free. Like, yes, we fucked up, but we set you free. And like, it was just back and forth, like the vitriol and the hate. And it's like, Jesus, this is still going on.
Yep, still going on today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beale.
That's how to say it.
Thank you, right. Wikipedia snippet.
Yeah.
Beale and Lokai. And it's...
Anybody find that Lokai has kind of a name that... Loki, yeah.
Lokai is white on the right side. All of his people are white on the right side. That's
right.
That's how Kirk and Spock look at each other like, so?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I'm black on the right side.
Right, it's the futility of racism.
I fail to see the significant difference.
Exactly.
Lokai is white. All of his people are white on the right side.
We're all human beings.
And then when they say, your people must have been monochromatic at some point, and Beale's like,
wait, yeah, here I found the whole thing here. Let me just read it, because this really is worth it, and this meant so much to me when I was a kid. It is obvious to the most simple-minded that Lokai is of an inferior breed. The obvious visual evidence, Commissioner, is that he is of the same breed as yourself. Mm-hmm. Are you blind, Commander Spock? Well, look at me. Look at me. You're black on one side and white on the other. I am black on the right side. I fail to see the significant difference. Lokai is white on the right side. All of his people are white on the right side.
Yeah. And the way he goes, "Are you blind, Commander Spock?" It's like,
really?
What's wrong with you? Can't you tell?
I actually think Spock should have caught this. Of all people, the analytical mind of Spock should have caught this immediately.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course he should have, but they were doing that so he could say the words, so he could point out this. So basically, the whole episode is to set that dialogue up.
Yeah. All right, so how long has Bill been chasing them? It's like 1,000 years?
50,000 of your Earth years is what he said.
That's a long fucking time.
Yeah, that is commitment to purpose, really.
Yeah, it proves that it's a big universe. So.
And then you find out they get back to Sharon.
Right.
And no one's there.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah, it's a crater. Right, the whole fucking planet is just a cinder, and the running through the fucking ship was like, I was like, what the fuck? It looks horrible to me. That I wish they would not have had that in there. Right, I think that there was a way to convey the futility of their of their conflict without, I don't know, the running. It looked like Frank Gorshin was just like, like, I don't know. He looked very effeminate and like he was not into running. I don't know how to explain it. What did you guys think?
I thought it was a little weird that Kirk was like, yeah, just let them run through the ship. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, I don't think they could have stopped them. Those guys are pretty powerful.
That's true. They were able to control the ship with their minds. So that's...
What do you
And they had their own, like, shielding, too.
Yeah.
Personal. It was weird.
But I my favorite part, and I think that this is one of the favorite parts of many fans, is the self-destruct scene.
Mm-hmm. Always, yeah.
When Beale's like, take the ship to Sharon, or we're going to Sharon, and Kirk's like, no, we're not, and you better turn it around, or I'm gonna blow up the ship. And Beale's like, no, you're not. He goes, oh, really, asshole?
That's right. Don't you know I'm Captain Kirk?
Yeah, And there's a consistent theme in life. If you don't write any checks with your mouth, that you're not willing to cash with that ass.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep. That's the truth.
Yeah. So, and Kirk was willing to cash in, and knock that count down, and everybody's like looking at each other like, "Holy shit!" Is it? Right,
and Kirk's like, after 5 seconds, no one can stop it.
Yep.
And he gets to 6, and Beale's like, "Fine, I agree." It's just Kirk is.
It's really hard to tell when Kirk is bluffing and when he's not bluffing.
The sign of a good poker player.
Yep.
Because you see him here, and we all know he's not bluffing.
No.
As watching the episode, but then you look at what was the Corbomite maneuver?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where we know he's not bluffing.
Right.
But the guy that he's fighting doesn't know he's not bluffing. So it's just.
That's another thing that I think they gave to Riker from Kirk. And one of the things that Riker actually does well, like we laugh at him for his sexual exploits, right? But Riker can bluff.
He's a poker player.
He's a poker player. But I mean, like on the bridge, Riker's done some pretty ballsy shit when he's been in command.
He's gotten caught a couple times too.
Yeah, he's gotten caught, but he
got caught in Darmok. He started a fight, and if it wasn't for Picard coming back on the bridge and talking their language, they were in trouble.
They would have been fucked. Yeah,
that is one of the best episodes ever written.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think that's one of Pincalo's favorites, actually.
Yeah, another episode where the person on who comes into the show, not part of the regular cast, makes the show.
Oh, dude,
the guy who beamed down to the planet.
Oh, fuck it. What is that guy's name?
He's a very well-known actor, very prestigious actor. But yeah, it's another one of those episodes.
Is that who played? It's not Lou Gossett. No.
You're thinking of Enemy Mine.
Yes, that's a good movie.
Yes, it is. But yeah, another Star Trek show where the guy coming in really drives the episode. Mm-hmm. So
Darmok is played by. Oh, okay, I want to say Bernie Casey's the guy's name.
No, I would recognize it as soon as you say it.
All right, give me a second. All right, I'm pulling it up.
I'm surprised Skeptalk hasn't come up with it, because Skeptalk is awesome at Google foo.
I'm sorry. I was chasing down something that somebody posted up in chat. I completely lost the thread. What are you talking about?
The guy who played the captain in Darmok on TNG. The actor. Come on, guys. I could have come up with it by now.
It's like Captain Terrell. Paul Winfield. That's the guy's name.
Winfield, yeah.
And Ashley Judd was in that episode, too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Back when she was pretty. Yeah.
Dude. She was stunning.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was probably the end of the whole. I don't think we ever really saw such a clear episode about slavery or anything along that lines as Let That Be Your Last Battle. That was probably the most, I don't want to say blatant, but kind of blatant.
Yeah. Definitely definitive.
Definitive, that's probably a better word.
It was interesting you didn't choose any episodes from the first season.
I didn't choose episodes by season at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just happened to pick the 3 that I thought were best. They could have all 3 of these could have been in the first season, or they could have been the 3rd season. It would have made any difference.
I wanted to make one other comment about the Omega Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please do.
Did you know that this was one of the 3 draft stories considered for the second pilot of the series?
Really?
Oh, wow.
The Where No Man Has Gone Before was obviously one. And the 3rd that was considered as one of the stories for the pilot was, you'll never guess this, Mud's women.
No way.
Wow.
Way.
Trying to lead with a comedy thing?
Yeah, kind of interesting.
I think Star Trek would have tanked if they led it with Mud's women.
God, what were they thinking? Anyway.
Water, cord, Fenton, mud.
Shut up!
Well, it was
Stella.
sold. Yeah, wagon train to space. That's how he sold it to him.
Mm.
And so,
Isn't it funny how it's a little bit left field, but isn't it funny how that was sold as kind of a Western in space, yet Firefly was more of a Western in space and
much more. Yeah.
Didn't take off.
Wars. Right. And Firefly was a great series, but yeah.
When Firefly quit, I went into like a week of mourning.
Yeah.
Fox had a habit of killing really good series after
10
one
years
season.
of that.
Man.
So
Fucking
bad.
Motherfuckers.
I just, what the hell?
I'm still mad about Alcatraz. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Still.
That just hurt my heart.
Yeah.
I love
Briscoe County.
So
That's another 1 year wonder.
So
who's next?
Skep.
Am I next? Okay.
You're next.
So next weekend is Labor Day. So we're going to be going to the cottage. So we've got 2 weeks. So Skep.
Only 2 weeks for me to figure out which three
You haven't picked your 3 yet? You're kidding me.
Well, he's a very deep thinking man. And
when we talked about this, about picking our favorites, that night I had my 3.
Oh, I mean, I can pick many 3.
Yeah.
It's hard for, and what happens is, according to my mood, they shift.
Yeah.
They shift a lot.
Yeah.
So
my 3 will always be my 3. Nothing.
I know what
I will nail
my
down
3 is.
some. I will nail down some, but I think about things and according to the way that I change, sometimes things change. Although Tribbles will be one of the 3. That's for sure.
I was about to ask you, can you at least
Tribbles will be one. Absolutely. Tribbles will be one.
Tribble.
And yes, Mud's Women will be an honorable mention, but it will not make my list. I do tend to like some of the comedic ones.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking for some comedy from me.
Well, I mean, Tribbles is a comedy, right?
Of course it is.
Mud's Women wasn't really a comedy. Mud was the comedy.
Mud was the comedy.
Yeah,
right?
Mud was the comedy. Yeah. But
awesome.
Anyway, yeah, we'll have some fun with it. And,
so guys, I think that's that.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, y'all. So I hope everyone enjoyed our track discussion. I sure did. Thanks to Irate, Hammer, and Skep for joining me as always. It's fun.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Yeah.
No worries.
Thanks for doing this one.
Irate, there is no cream stream tomorrow, correct?
No ice cream tomorrow. I'm doing a family thing. So
All right.
Gonna have blind and special tomorrow.
We are. So 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central for the Blind and the Special, and of course, coffee stream back on Monday. And it's the last week of the shortened schedule, guys. So I'll be going back to 2 hours as of next Tuesday, the 3rd of September.
Okay, very good.
So that'll be fun. So,
Tuesday after Labor Day.
yeah.
Very good.
So I hope everyone has a great Saturday. Swing by Minions of the Zoo tonight at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 p.m. Central. And I hope everyone has
tonight. Anybody?
Yeah, anyone know? Is it Reject?
Hammer's one of the masters of Minions. He should know.
Saturday is Rejects night. I don't know if she's actually running it because I haven't heard from her.
Yeah.
She has a tendency to bounce out a lot, but yeah, Saturday is her night.
I looked on Minion server. She hasn't asked for help. So
okay, well, hopefully she'll be running it tonight.
Yeah.
She does a good show.
She does a good show. So please be there, guys.
And with that, everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. And we'll see you all later.
Bye
Bye everybody.
Bye, y'all.